2024. Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Hi, pretty.
Oh, thanks.
Sam will probably be here.
Sam will be here. He's just, you know how Sam
What
is.
is the thing in the middle?
That's the,
You on mine?
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. I need one of those for my wife.
That's good.
Did you say for your life?
Life.
Yeah.
So I'm with my work life.
Chairman complaint on calling the meeting to order of the Public Property and Safety Committee. We will take roll. Ms. Hayes.
Here,
Ms. Anthony.
present.
Ms. Steininger.
Here.
Mr. Newt is absent for now. All right, 3.0 approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
A second.
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion on the agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 4.0 review and approval of meeting minutes from February 6, 2024.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I do. I'd like to make an amendment to the minutes. Where did I see that? Under 7.1 Sheriff's Department, the Social Security Administrator should be the Social Security.
Social service.
Social Service.
I will make sure that is notated.
Any discussion on the amendment?
Do you have a second?
Sure.
I'll second.
I'm not asking.
No,
if
you
have
carried
a
the
second.
motion for the amendment.
For the
Oh.
amendment.
Okay. I'm all right.
Yeah, we have a second.
Okay.
All right. All right. No, any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. We'll have,
We gotta go back to the original motion.
all right,
We do.
there you go. All those in favor? Any discussion on the original motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, 5.0 approval of claims. On the public safety side, we have cash requirements of $336,644.27. Manual claims of $53,449.66 with a total of $390,093.39. Okay, on the public property side, we have cash requirements of $95,923.66, $0 on manual claims for a total of $95,923.66. So I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the claims? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 6.0 public comment. No one's present. Go to 7.0 reports to the committee. 7.1 Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Stovall.
Did you want to switch that up and let them go first, since I had quite a few things to go over tonight?
Oh, God.
Perfectly fine.
All right, we'll go with the coroner first.
Oh, that's fine. I don't have much tonight for a report, but total number of deaths for February were 47. And of those, 43 were natural causes, 4 were accidental. We did 3 autopsies for February. So that's all I really have for a report, unless someone has any questions or anything they'd like to ask.
It's a pretty cut and dry month.
It was. It's, my autopsies were 2 falls though, and probably going to be a hypothermia. So I had some not so fun cases, but
No, that's not good.
yeah.
All right.
Any questions for the coroner?
There he is. Nope.
All right, thank you, coroner.
Thank you.
We'll go to 7.2, Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Townsend, your report.
Thank you. Good morning, or good evening, everybody. Report for this month, we attended the monthly meeting from IEMA, Office of Homeland Security County Call. Again, topics were asylum seeker updates, severe weather preparedness, and some of the severe weather we've experienced this last month. And again, they're talking about those changes to the EMA portion of the Administrative Code 301. Also updating the county's ILCAT, which is basically a preparedness threat analysis that we do. It was done every, I want to say 5 years. We backed it down now. We do it every 6 months. It's kind of a fluid document that we're constantly updating and moving with, and it's going to work out well. It's not a document that we do once and put away, forget about it. We're at it all the time. And then, of course, our training plan is along the same line. That was redone every 2 years. Now it's done again every 6 months. So that's more work for us, but I think it's more beneficial for the county. Of course, we were directed by the county board to go out for requests for proposals for the UTVs. I have those tonight. We'll discuss that later. Attended pipeline emergency response training. CoreX is the name of the company that puts this on annually. Something our office does every year. Law enforcement, a lot of the contractors in the area are required to have this training. It's good to get updated and kind of get in contact with those that are in our county handling the pipelines. I had a meeting with some stakeholders, decision makers here in the county and in the city of Freeport, hosted with Jasmine Winger, the county clerk. We brought everybody together to discuss the election threat and incident response that potentially could happen in our county. Luckily, Illinois has not had anything of substance happen in our state, but nationwide there has been some things that have gone on during election times. It's been a big topic with IEMA and obviously with the election, Illinois Board of Elections. So we got together ourselves, Jasmine and I. We brought in county administrator, IT people from the county, law enforcement, both city and county. Who else? I forget anybody.
State's Attorney's Office.
Yeah, and we had a really good meeting.
It was.
We discussed a lot of things, media policy as far as them coming into polling situations, First Amendment auditors that could show up on scene, how we're going to handle them, obviously severe weather instances, and cybersecurity were some of the things. So we're putting together an incident action plan, trying to give Jasmine something that she can hand out with for her poll sitters and her election judges for the polls in the county to help prepare them if something should happen. We're hoping nothing does, but we want to be prepared. So that was a good meeting that we did. I felt it was very good. We had LEPC Unified Command Committee. Our quarterly meetings were held March 26th. Those are just normal meetings that we have every quarter. We discussed some upgrades to SR30 and the Wi-Fi SR30 with some of the topics there. Next week, we'll be hosting the National Weather Service Storm Spotter out at Highland Community College. It's Tuesday, March 19th at 6:30 p.m. Room H201, which is where it's always been. This is an annual event that we host with National Weather Service. We're also hosting in April a emergency management workshop for our region out at the County Highway Department. I've been asked by some of the stakeholders around that want to attend that meeting also to kind of come up to date with basically how to use the website from National Weather Service and become more informed weather observers and reporters. Interest came from the Sheriff's Office, obviously, the Fire Department, Freeport, and the Fire and Police Department. Those three deputy chiefs have asked to attend that also. As it stands right now, they'll be able to attend along with other emergency managers from our area. Right now, I think we have 7 of us that are coming in. I guess lastly, I'll just say that March is severe weather preparedness month, and with the eclipse coming next month, that's also part of IEMA's concern too. That's all I have for now. Is there any questions?
Go ahead.
You mentioned First Amendment auditors,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you can answer that question or perhaps Ms. Newcomer, but is there any education that's given to the employees on exactly what's allowed for people that are coming in to make sure that, I mean, the whole point of that is to catch someone violating it. So is there education on like where they can be, what not to do, where they can go, where, you know, all that good stuff.
Departments have had training.
I was gonna say, the
Okay.
training that we had last July in Galena was distributed at the department head meeting, and hopefully the department heads, I know a lot of department heads followed up with me after the fact, after they looked at it and spoke with their employees and things, so.
Is that continued? Because we know turnover is an issue, so are like a new employees getting
I
that
will bring it up
information?
tomorrow at the department head
I
meeting.
never thought about that in a while until you said that,
But
but
there has been some changes made to like the buildings as far as employee only access.
Normal employees will make sure. We have another meeting on that.
What's that?
You have another meeting scheduled on that, don't you? Or what?
Yeah, but probably not the entire crew.
Okay.
So,
I will bring that up tomorrow though again, as a reminder.
Go ahead.
Mr. Townsend, you talked about the eclipse next month. Are you anticipating any weirdness going on with that, or?
not in our area, but
Okay.
the state is planning for a mass influx of people in the southeast corner of the state where they.
Where it's viewing? Okay.
Yeah, so they're having, you know, they're expecting hundreds of thousands of people that normally aren't there. And that area is really not equipped to handle those types of crowds as far as, you know, emergency services, even hotels,
Even services,
transportation,
period.
things like that. So that's really what we're looking at. I've been invited to attend, but trust me, I'll be safely
The
up
road
here.
trip on the
I will
UTV.
be
Safely up here, he
Northwest
says.
Illinois.
You are no,
Georgia, question for you.
thank you.
So if we're putting this together, are we educating the election judges along with? I mean, I understand that everyone that's an election judge should be aware, but I mean, is there anything happening with the people that are volunteering to be election judges? If something were to happen,
I can't speak.
I was gonna
for
say,
Jasmine.
you probably wanna direct that at Jasmine tomorrow, during admin, cause I don't wanna speak for her. But I know that she's working on doing
She
a
is doing
training
things.
and.
She's acquired some guides and handouts and things that'll be present at all the polling stations. So she is working towards that. But the level of education that she's given out, I don't know.
in this
I
one.
don't wanna speak for her, but yeah, I know she's working on it.
Any more questions for Mr. Townsend? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Scoville, your report.
Good evening. The sheriff's report is, if I could, I would like to request that recognizing the deputies be put on Thursday's full county board meeting. I would like to recognize some awards that we have with this new generation we have. They really like pats on the head. So we've learned that through our training at the Sheriff's Association. This is something we implemented at the beginning of last year. So these would be 2023 achievements, and we're going to announce them now. So if I could get that put on, it should only take a few minutes. I'm not gonna go into a big thing and do anything in particular. It's just recognition. In the hiring process, we still have several people in the hiring process in different stages for different positions, but I'm happy to report after you all have granted me an additional 4, it was really 2, but anyway, we didn't know, we have 4, we have 2 openings left. So we have more people right now than we've had probably in the last 20 years on paper. The hard part is that we still have to go to school, we still have to do the field training stuff and get these people released, but we're on the right track. We have 58 inmates at this time. I'd like to clarify something with the inmates because a question came up later or last week about this. The inmate population fluctuates. So if you're looking at something at 2 o'clock in the afternoon as opposed to 7 o'clock in the afternoon, you have to remember we take them to court. So the 2 times that we actually get a head count, and I ask about the head count. I don't go with what's on our website. I want to know the head count. So the head count comes at 6 in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. So when I get the head count in the morning, it's from 6 a.m. At 9 o'clock, they start going to court. So if I have 75 people at 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, by 9 o'clock, that could easily go down to 55. So I'm getting the head counts from 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is a little bit better because anybody that came in after court, the 58 are what's going to probably be there, maybe a fluctuation of a couple. We could get 10 people in a night. Report could go to something and arrest 4 or 5 people. So the head count might be a little bit higher. So I go with the 10 o'clock head count, just so you know where that number comes from. So I've had people say, well, that's not right because I counted and there was 61. That's not how that works. I want to bring up the tornado drill the tornado signal that was put out last week, and I don't remember which day it was. A tornado was allegedly spotted east of Pearl City, heading northeast, kind of towards, I guess it would be more to the east of Lena also. So I got in the car as soon as I got it and started driving towards that area to see what was actually going on. Once I got, probably about 5 miles from Lena on 20, the north part of 20 was cloudy and sunny, and the south side was where all the storm was. So I'm not sure what had happened. I got on the phone right away with Scott on my drive there, and I simply said, what is going on? Do you have a tornado? And he didn't have anything. So what I want to bring this up for all of you to know is that we are working together. We have each other's phone number. As soon as I heard it and started driving, I called Scott to see if he had confirmed anything. He hadn't. So he was on the phone trying to confirm things. I was actually out. I had a deputy in Pearl City. I had a deputy going towards Lena. We had the Lena police also working, and I was able to make contact with Chief Fred Cass to make sure everything was there. He said it got very dark, a little bit windy, but he had not seen anything either. So just so you guys know what we're actually doing out there, working together with all of the agencies and resources that we have out there. And I'm happy to report nothing happened. The HVAC, the second notice to bidder, or I'm sorry, I did not change that one. The HVAC. I was at the opening at 10 o'clock at Fair Graham today. I did not, I signed in just like anybody would. There was one submitted HVAC RFP. It was the Helm Group. I don't know anything else about that. I didn't grab any paperwork, but Fair Graham is still going to grade them as if they would, and then we would be in negotiations about the price after this goes to the full board on Thursday. Now, what I want to say is this is the third time that we've done this. I've talked to Carl Larson. I know we put in there that we would take the top 2 qualifying quotes for their qualifications, and we would let both of them walk through the building, get all the things they needed to do to give us a quote so we could narrow it down because of security reasons, especially at the jail. I told Carl, well, what's going to happen if we don't get 2? Is somebody going to get hung up on that? Because I will guarantee you there won't be a 4th RFP because we're not going to get anybody to give us a quote on that. Let me tell you what I got from Darren Steekel today. So Darren tried his hardest. He contacted 7 contractors and told them all about this RFP. Did not get any results. So when he got about halfway through, he actually called the union president of the sheet metals union and asked if he could reach out to get someone else to do this. So I think we've gone above and beyond any due diligence that's ever been done in the past, and we got one RFQ, so we have one company that's there. I just want to give you a heads up for when we go to full board, we need to get this done because we have some units going to go bye-bye. And we're in a position now, if we have to start this over, which it's not going to happen, we'll just wait until it's an emergency and I'll have to do what I have to do. We won't have air conditioning. We went almost all summer last year in the state's attorney's office without air conditioning, and we'll do what we have to do with that. And I'm not making any threats or anything like that. I just want to let you know, this has been a long drawn out process over the last few years. We're in a place, this is where we're at. Nobody wanted to bid it for whichever reason that they could come up with. This is what we have. And Darren said I would have the paperwork with the official letter on Friday, so I would be able to tell you what the grading scale would be for Thursday, and then we'll go from there. Social Services Administrator, again, continuing to acquire additional clients. Just to give you a little snapshot, I'm really working about partnering with all the schools in the county. Obviously, it won't be with, let me back up. It will be with Lena and Freeport High School. The reason I have to say this is because they have their own full-time police departments. We were there to partner with them and help them with any school thing. The rest of the schools, the Orangevilles, the Dakotas, the German Valleys, which is Foreston and Pearl Cities, they don't have their own police department that's full-time. So we are partnering with them to make sure that they are safe. They have all of the resources that they would ever need, especially if we have something happen in the school like we had at the beginning of the year, where there was a employee that did some things to girls that were there, and it pretty much devastated their school. Thank God we had a social worker there. She barely started and got on that right away. So we're actually putting out MOUs with them just to let them know we're there. This is what we can tell you about cases, and they have an attorney looking at their paperwork, letting them know what they can actually tell us, because everybody gets so scared about giving up information. So it will be spelled out. So when we need somebody's address for their parents, they can't say, that's privacy, you can't do that. Well, we're the police. We're gonna find out anyway. It'd just be a lot quicker if you just gave it to us. So we're in the process of that, but the social services person, what I'm getting at has been a major role in that. She's acquiring all the resources, all the contacts, and all the programs that we have out there. She's working for me right now to become an ACTS, and I believe it's ACTS. Freeport High School is going through it right now, where they're training all of their staff to recognize if a child is in some sort of despair, whatever that is, meaning maybe the parents aren't getting along at home, so the kid's a little bit off, or the kid's getting abused, or they're witnessing things at home or somewhere, that they can recognize that and offer help right away and get us involved. So in my office now, it's all about, it's all about taking these kids and developing them so that they can have a chance at life. All right, so that's what she's doing. And there's a pretty big plate that she has full on those things. Talked about that. I have received 8 applicants, or I did receive 8 applicants for the new position that you voted on last month. We got probably 15 minutes after we posted it, and it looks like a within the office employee wants to jump over to a non-union position, which actually works out good because they already know the system and they'll be able to be plug and play. So once again, I won't have a downtime for training and things like that. So we will put that out. I think they were just hired this evening, or I'm sorry, not hired. They were just interviewed this evening, so they will be offered a job by the end of this week. The elevator RFP that was in your packets, I believe. I'm requesting approval for the elevator RFP that you have before you. I was able to take a unbiased third party to come in and actually tell us what we needed without having to go to an engineering firm. That's why you see a lot of language that says that it's not a proprietary type of a part or proprietary type of system. If anybody can have that, and I actually spoke to him about this. I said, I can't have you say a cone elevator shaft or whatever. So that's why you see the type of language there. It's pretty simple. He was able to help me, give me the scope of what that we needed as per what we have. And it looks like we needed a little bit more than what we were when we had the audit done on the elevator system by Cone, who said we would need to replace these parts. This third party said, well, if you're going to replace those, you need to replace these. So it's a little bit more than we anticipated, but we should be able to handle that. And then the last thing is I have the roofing. There's another page.
Just turn the room down and start over.
I'll do it. I can do it.
Like we did in the 70s.
All right, roofing. I was able to open the roofing bids on Monday at 3:15. I had 3 bids, one from Distinctive Roofing out of Rockford, one was Freeport Industrial Roofing out of Freeport, and then Top Roofing Inc. out of Wheaton, Illinois. They were opened with the people from Distinct Roofing and, I'm sorry, from Freeport Industrial Roofing and Top Roofing were in attendance. And opening them, Distinct Roofing came in at a bid of $159,170. Freeport Industrial Roofing came in at $177,500, and Top Roofing came in at $134,000 even. So I was able to open that up, and then this morning, because this happened yesterday, I was able to actually go through these. Well, top roofing is disqualified right away because we actually requested the same roofing that we have at the jail and the public safety building now, which is called a Duralast roof. It's something that is a particular material. They came in with what's called a Vesco. Now, I know a little bit about Vesco because somebody tried to do that with us out at the jail also and want to put on a different roof. We don't want that. We want to have everything the same, so we know when we have a contractor that needs to fix it, they know what they're doing on all three roofs. So top roofing is already out. The other two bids were complete. Everything was as we said. And like I said, one was 159, 170. The other was 177, 500. I did have a few concerns that I think I can express that now, right, about the two. All right, some of the concerns that I have with Distinct Roofing, and I don't know anybody there. Okay, I know the people at Freeport, I know of them. I don't know anything about Distinctive. This is just what my dealing was with them. First of all, they're out of the area. Yes, they're in Rockford. Would they come over and fix any problems? I would hope they would, but I don't have any history with them. They've never provided a quote on any of our other buildings, so I'm not really sure what their company, when it started, how they found out about this particular quote, because it's been in the last 10 years that we've done the PSB and the jail, and they've never quoted that before. One of the tech, when he came out to meet with us, he argued that the roof was actually older than it was. He thought it was in the 60s, and I had to tell him that the building was built in the 70s, so it can't be a 60s roof. He said he could tell by the wiring and this and that and the other thing. So he actually asked me if he could take a sample, which makes a drill. He has to drill into the roof, and they verified. It already verified what I already told him. It was a 70s roof, so it did not have the material in there. He wanted to use a different product at the beginning, and I said no. It's specifically the Duralast. And then after all that was done, he actually called me and asked me how I thought they should frame the roofing that's going to go on there. And I was a little taken back about that. I know a little bit about how that works because of the jail. I was not involved in the PSB. I know that there's a roofing membrane that goes over and all that kind of stuff. So obviously I didn't answer any questions because I couldn't. That was what kind of bothered me about Distinctive, and some of the things that I like about Industrial. They've done 2 other jobs for us. We've had a problem and they've come right out and fixed them. It's not uncommon for a seam, of the weld of a seam to come undone. They immediately bring somebody out. I mean, we've never had to stall, plus they're right down the street on 26. They're local. They're our longtime vendor with us. They've been doing our roof patching before we did the replacement. And they fixed any problems that we had in the past. And they also helped us come up with a plan to do preventative maintenance until it was time to get that roof actually taken care of. I started in 2014. The jail was 14 years old. They gave us their opinions for the next 6 years, and when the roof turned 20, that's when they said, well, we've done all we can do with that. You need to replace it. So they are the experts. So those are just those are my opinions. They're actually talking to people and seeing this and working with a company. Those are just some few things that I have. All right, after that, does anybody have any questions? I think that's it. Yes.
Any questions?
Update on the crime suppression unit.
Oh, yep, the crime suppression unit, you will be happy to know that we're gonna be able to hire a full-time person finally. It's a lateral, and I don't wanna say finally, there's some things that had to be worked out, but so as soon as that person starts, they're going to have an abbreviated 2-week training program just to understand how to serve papers and a few things that we do here. And they will be immediately in a crime suppression unit vehicle, and they will be out doing exactly what we want them to do instead of what we've been doing, scheduling people on an overtime basis, or when people are down, sending them out and trying to be proactive on the road. This person's already got that type of training. We're going to be sending them over to I guess, job shadow Winnebago County's unit that's just like that. And they also have some schools coming up for interdiction and a few things that they need some updates on, but this person will hit the ground running. We have one that's in the FTO program. Once they are through with that, we will have another officer in there, which should be in the end of April. So we will have 2 of the 4 men for the crime suppression unit, full-time with an actual schedule, doing nothing but what we want them to their entire shift. So we're moving. Yep.
Sure. How much would you estimate that you have to repair the courthouse, the jail every month because of the HVAC?
I know that Nick had a kind of a high bill. I don't remember exactly. I believe it was over $10,000 for a unit that was out there that we had to repair. And it had to be done because it was in the winter. I mean, it's just a matter of getting it at the wrong time. If that heating unit would have went out in the summer, we wouldn't have been, or in the spring or the fall, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be the summer. We probably could have got away with not using it, but when it was in the dead winter and we're having condensation problems and then cold problems in there, that could always spark molding areas that we don't know about, things like that. So this is something that we have to get done.
It's usually every month something needs to be repaired.
Yes, as I see the bills come through, it's just like, I forgot about this, what happened there, but we had to replace this, or the fan went out again, or a belt broke. It's just wear and tear. The jail's 24 years old, and I can't even tell you about the courthouse. I don't know when the last time anything's been updated there, so that's where we're at. And there's also roof leaks around those units. That's why we're trying to get this all done, and hopefully you will hear from me for the next 20 years on any big projects.
Really?
To the
You
next
actually
person.
said that.
Yeah,
What's that?
you should not have.
I am very
You know
confident.
what?
I'm confident. I'm confident.
Did we discuss the license plate readers while I was in the bathroom? for-
Nope.
No.
So
A minute and a half?
the license plate reader, last month, I spoke out of turn when I said the permits were required, they were requested. But I can tell you this, we're just waiting on the IDOT permit. I can't say we, the vigilant people were looking for a local person to do the wiring. They hired Helm Group. I had nothing to do with that, so I don't want to hear about RFPs. They hired Rock River Communications to install the cameras. So everything is set, ready to go. We are waiting on IDOT, which is the state. So as soon as we get that, we are good to go. So, and we do have paperwork. I know the last time I actually said we had this stuff, but I'm not seeing the paperwork. The paperwork is coming through, so we are on the right place. Oh, and I also told you that they made a mistake about how much equipment that we gave back. Well, they re-audited the equipment, and then they tried to squeeze me for another 10,000. I said, absolutely not. Mysteriously, they are taking care of the
Of
entire
course they are.
installation because
They
I'm
need
not
to be.
doing it. Yep.
All right. Any more questions for the sheriff? All right.
Got a lot on
Sheriff.
his plate this month.
I know, right?
Barely anything.
Go to 9.4, Mr. Townsend, the quote for the UTV.
Okay. As before, we presented, we were instructed to go out for RFQs. We did that. We advertised in the paper for 5 consecutive days. I'd like to thank Georgia for assisting me through that process. We had a bid opening Monday. We had 3 bids that were either mailed or delivered to my office. The first one was FHK on a 2024 Kawasaki Crow Ranch. He quoted it 2 ways because that does not come pre-built with a cab. The price for without the cab was $22,447.69. With the cab was $36,372.52. That quote was kind of different than the first original, if that matters. The other 2 were identical. Eastland Motorsports from Lanark, they quoted a 2024 Can-Am Defender for $33,386.85. That did not include, that price is not what you're looking at on your quote, because I subtracted the labor just to show you apples to apples. They added $566 to add the labor for which I was asking for. Light bars, winches, bumpers, side mirrors, and so forth. Full Throttle and Alina came in with a quote on a 2024 Polaris North Star of $31,405.91. So basically the way this worked out is the way we did back in January. I would like to go ahead and purchase, with your approval, the 2024 Polaris from Full Throttle Alina. Any questions?
Take a motion for the
I
approval.
will motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
We'll go back to 9.1, 9.2, and 9.3 and vote of those.
We have color on this. too.
Thank you.
We gotta go back and vote on yours.
Well, it's on the new business stuff, so.
Do we need to go talk about IEMA's, IMA's printer while we're right here at 9.5, or do we need to go back?
We can do this 9.4 and then go back.
Our current ID card printer for the county it's on its last legs. Nate's been out to the office continuously trying to keep it running. He has, but it is 9 years old, and I just think it's time that we quit fighting it. We can't update the software that runs it anymore. That's not available. So we did some research. We had Paul Bartle with AMC3 Identity Solutions. He is he's from Frederick, Wisconsin, but he has a lot of business down here in Northern Illinois. He handles the sheriff's printer. He handles school districts. He handles ours, obviously. FHN, Honeywell, just to name a few here in the Freeport area. So he's very knowledgeable. He came down to give a presentation to Nate, Billy, and myself. And I spoke with Kurt on the phone about this. Technically, I guess we can have him sign off on this, but I felt that since it's a countywide piece of equipment and it occupies all other departments, we felt we wanted to bring this to the board here, to the committee here. I do all the cards for everybody in the county except for the sheriff. So that's kind of why we wanted to do this. And the price, I was pleasantly surprised. Back in 2016, the price for the card printer was $3,150. Now the price is $3,050. So it's actually cheaper than it was in 2016. Now that's kind of deceiving because now with the software, we have to have licensing and stuff. So we're gonna ask for 2 licenses for myself and the other EMA assistant directors so that if we have a situation in, let's say, Pearl City, that tornado touched down and we had to have a controlled area, this printer has the portability of detaching from the laminator. We can take it out to Pearl City and we can set up IDs that'll help keep that scene controlled right on scene. So that was something that I think is going to save the city or save the county money also, because I was actually looking at 2 separate printers. The printer that we're quoting does that, so we got 2 for 1. Another nice thing is all the cards that we have can be utilized by this printer. We have over 2,000 cards in inventory. I'm not sure why, but I'm glad we do. 1,000 are regular cards, 1,000 are sticky back cards. So that's another plus about this printer. It can use the same cards we're currently using. I can talk on and on, but I'm gonna stop and ask if there's any questions.
So those plastic IDs, the little plastic, those hard cards.
Yep.
You guys still got that stuff. Wow.
What's that now?
You still have it. I mean, it's been around for years. So.
Yeah. And I'm not sure prior to 2014 who, if there was other ID
I used to
at
have
that
one.
point or not, but
I think the first time we had county IDs, at least county-wide, was
Yeah, that's what they were.
7.
Yeah.
06.
I would, yeah, some
You want
of
the
the
fingerprint?
photographs in our database are that old.
You can scan them, they can be programmed to get in different, well, the courthouse used to be there, yeah, you just.
What he's talking about is the ID.
Just the ID.
Yes, not the.
Oh, not the-
keys.
So that's
not the
why,
keys.
that's why when he says sticky
The
back
new key
down.
Oh,
system
okay.
is about $80,000.
Oh,
So we don't want to talk about that.
You just said you weren't gonna bring anything else. so-
Right, for 20 years.
I'm gonna keep it working.
For 20 years, we have it on record.
So I'm saying move to approve if that's okay.
I'll second.
All those, any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
If I can also add, I just want to say, Scott and I have talked, and, there's a lot of people, county employees that have the original ID that they had from 15, 20 years ago. So in the next few months, he's hoping, once he gets the printer, we're going to work department by department and update these IDs so that.
Sure, they will appreciate that.
New photos. of those
And he's
IDs.
absorbing this out of his budget.
And I was gonna say, and this is out of his budget.
It's very nice. of him.
Yeah, and the inventory, that is definitely a plus, because that was there that he walked into, so.
I try to help whenever I can.
Alright, we have 9.4, 9.5 done for approvals. Now let's go back to 9.1, 9.2, 9.3. We went a little out of order, but approval of the RFP for the elevator replacement.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Copley, that will be going out Friday, just so you all know. It'll hit the paper, our website, everything on Friday. It'll be up for 30, well, it'll actually be up for 28 days, just so we can get it before this next meeting.
9.2, approval of the quote for the roof replacement
I so move.
for Freeport Industrial, correct?
You need to select one.
Freeport
Oh.
Industrial.
Yes, Freeport Industrial.
And I will second that, Freeport Industrial.
That's the one you approve of here?
Yes.
Alright. Any discussion on the roof replacement for the elevator? Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, approval of qualifications for the HVAC at the courthouse and the jail. There's only one company for Helm Group, so do I have a motion to approve Helm.
I motion to approve.
Second, any discussion on that?
Are you going to be present at the county board meeting to explain
Yes.
everything you did about all efforts that were made?
I'm actually gonna bring Darren with me, so he
Okay.
can tell you, and if he can't make it for whatever reason, I will be able to explain that too. We went over that in great detail today.
Good.
Is that something that you all would think would be very helpful,
Yes.
especially, okay, as long as I can get you guys to back
Considering
me
the
on that
history
too.
of this project, yes.
What's that?
Considering the history of this project?
Yes.
Well, I think that, yeah, after all the hoops that we've jumped through for the past 6 months, I think that everyone on the entire board needs to understand what's gone into this process and
Thank
where we're at right now.
Thank you.
All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're to 10.0, comments from committee members. Go ahead.
I know I'm not a committee member, I just forgot to put this in there because it came to me late. I'm going to have an open house, at the courthouse by invite. You know, obviously, all board members are going to be, invited, just so we can see, everyone can see the updates that have been done besides your roofing that you've approved, and your HVAC you've approved, and the elevators. I think you're gonna see that it's a process that's going to take me a little bit, but I got a good jump on it. And I'm really going to have a ribbon, I want to have a ribbon cutting for the social services area, along with the soft interview room. I think everyone needs to see where this office is going. So just to keep that in mind. Hopefully I'll have that ready at the end of April.
Any more comments?
Bless you.
All right, public comment, 11.0. Nobody from the public is here. 12.0, take a motion for adjournment.
I motion to adjourn.
A second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, adjourned.
Thank you.
Aye.
They have that storm.
Yep.
Or the guy, they have that storm. I think it was, that